Welcome to Daily Tax Savings. This is Tony Novak here to share a few points on saving taxes and staying out of tax trouble. Today's topic is amateur errors. Now, about half of all taxpayers prepare and file their own tax returns. That's great. It should be that simple and should be that easy. But I've said it many times before, an increasing amount of my tax work, well over half, comes from people who messed up in that process somewhere along the way. Why is that? Well, clearly there's two different causes of the inquiries and new client requests for work, tax work that come into me. One is people who knew they were screwing up. IRS knows, and pretty much everybody knows that filing your own tax returns is one way to uh, improperly reduce your tax burden. And some get away with it for a long time. I was in communication with a bookkeeper yesterday, a guy that has dozens of properties and hasn't filed taxes in a decade, apparently. And, does no intention to. He'll just keep ignoring that until he gets caught. We'll see what happens. In any event, I'll just add a side note. In that case, apparently he's convinced that President Trump will abolish the IRS and there will be no prosecution of tax cases in the future. So best wishes to him on that. But anyway, back to the topic: amateur errors. The other area that's much bigger, much larger, is when people make mistakes. They intend to file correctly, and it just doesn't go well. I'm working on a case today where it's a young, very extremely bright person in the financial tech industry. So certainly has the capability of dealing with online systems and consumer interactions with those things, but has made a couple of mistakes. One is he owed a substantial amount of money. The payment was made, so that's good, but he applied it to the wrong year. And this was a self-filing, and that problem is fairly easily solved. There would be some letters and some penalty assessed eventually, and then we'll just get it removed. So that's a problem easily solved. Another, though, is a little bit more perplexing. In this case, the return was so simple. One W-2 was all there was, that he wanted to prepare it himself rather than have me do it. Perfectly fine. I had served to review the returns, particularly with regard to possible multiple state issues, but that's not what we're talking here, just talking about the IRS issue at this point. So this was several months ago, filed the return, and hadn't received anything, hadn't noticed anything, haven't. He was concerned. I think for some reason he had a hunch that something wasn't right. So I went on and got the IRS transcript, and today shows no return has been filed. So in that case, he needs to go back to the filing service that he used to self-prepare his return, and he should be able to log on and get the filing confirmation. And I would strongly suggest that he print that both for the federal and state and save that. I, of course, do not have access to that if he used a different service. But the point of this broadcast is, I guess the take-home lesson is that a tax pro service goes a whole lot further than just preparing and filing the returns. There's a whole checklist of professional procedures from the beginning, from the data entry to the risk assessment to the confirmation of filing, which would have been done by any tax pro, would have had that, and then the documentation, whether it's months or years later, just in case there's an issue. So those are the type of things we say amateur errors. Those are the kinds of things that a normal person just wouldn't know wouldn't think about. And that, frankly, is what's causing a significant amount of the new tax cases that come to me. And how I'm addressing it is, well, let's fix the problem. Let's make sure that it never happens again. So I just include the tax filing in all of my ongoing client services. There's no extra fee for all of that tax filing and record keeping and due diligence and planning. It's all wrapped in together so that a person that's a client doesn't need to worry about that anymore. And to me, that's what makes sense. Tax filing should not be generating all of this angst and extra work. It's a shame in a case like the example that I did. It's going to take far more work to fix the mistakes than it would have to go to any tax professional, tax preparer, and have them do it correctly the first time. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, feedback on this issue. Or if you want to speak with me one-on-one, that's easy. Also, find me at taxproblems.cpa. And I'll be back tomorrow with another Tax Savings Minute.